Good afternoon. I would like to call the Flint Board of Education Special Board meeting to order at 5:31 p.m. Board members, I call your name. Please reply by present. Trustee King.
Present.
Trustee Loon is absent. Trustee Relaford.
Here.
Vice President Clack is absent. Assistant Secretary Treasurer McIntyre.
Here.
Secretary Perkins.
Present.
Myself, President Mike Neal. 5 present, 2 absent. The board will not hear comments from the public. We ask that you state the reason for addressing the board and that you limit your remarks to 3 minutes on matter within the authority of the board and not address individuals by name. The presiding officer of the board should have the right to limit the number of persons who may address the board on the same subject. Please state your name and address first before beginning to speak. Is there anyone here from the public who wishes to address the board? Thank you. We can't hear you.
It's not up. Okay.
Hello, my name is Keyshawn Wade. I graduated from Southwestern in 2019. I'm coming here tonight because I do my best to keep up with the happenings of Flint. I've been coming to this board, addressing this board since I've been 16. And I first want to start off by saying how much of an important role you guys play in the foundation of democracy. I think a lot of people don't even realize what job Is it working? Hello? Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So I think it's really, really important to understand the role that you guys play in upholding democracy and upholding public education. And I first want to extend grace to you all for doing such a public-facing job where the reality and the future of democracy is in the decisions that you make every single day. And the public, no matter what decision that you make, will always have something to add after that decision. But I want to be very clear. Because it is such an important job that you guys have in upholding democracy, your job is to safeguard public education and fulfilling every proposal that comes to this board is in direct violation of that. Everybody is not for public education. People are trying to serve their own interests, and the interest of this board is to protect public education. There are so many actors within the city of Flint right now, and many people believe that Flint's population will grow in the future. I'm one of those people. As an urban planner, I believe that to be true. And I believe that we have such an important responsibility to manage our resources that we have currently effectively and responsibly. Generations of the past have left us gold mines. I don't want to see this board buy into the mischaracterization that private outside entities are employing upon you all in an attempt to take away our public resources. We have the ability to create an entirely new educational landscape where the hard work of our forefathers give us the chance to have our children in new buildings that aren't overcrowded and give teachers and students more one-on-one time and individualized and specialized education. Any course of action that should lead to the diminishment or dissolution of the public schools or the reach of public schools should be rejected immediately. Flint deserves democracy. Flint deserves public schools and entities that do the work of taking resources over should not have a say in what our public assets are going to do for us in the future. I think indiscriminately giving away buildings and property without truly sitting down to think about where the next location children will go to is going to create a barrier and diminish access to public education. And distance should never be a barrier in the city of Flint because we have been left with a blueprint that is anti-barriers. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Are there any more speakers?
Since that young man was interrupted, could he finish what he was saying?
Who interrupted?
That
Uh,
just spoke.
Was
Was
he
he finished?
interrupted? Oh, I'm okay.
Are you finished?
Were you finished?
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure you had that
Okay,
opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very well spoken. Are there any more speakers? Seeing no more speaker, let's proceed. Board member, at this time, I need a motion and a second to go into closed session regarding vacant properties under Section J of the Michigan Open Meetings Act. Section 8J. Is it J or H? Okay, it's 8H. It was scratched out. Put a J here. Okay.
Madam President, I make a motion that we go into closed session under Section 8H, 8,
H.
8H.
Is there a second?
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
can you clarify? I see Act 8D. What are?
It's going to be a Section 8H, like the letter H in horse.
H is in Harry?
Yes.
Thank you.
It has been properly moved and second that we meet in the closed section. Board member, when I call your name, please say yes or no. Treasurer Loon is absent. Trustee Relaford.
Yes.
Trustee King.
Yes.
Vice President Clack is absent. Trustee McIntyre.
Yes.
Secretary Perkins.
Yes.
And myself is a yes. 5 yes, 2 absent. Board member, we are now in closed session. Please go to the room behind the table.
computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
to it. I would like to call the special board meeting back to order. The time is 6:41? 6:42. We will start the regular board meeting. Approximately everybody in their seat, 6:43. Seeing no further business of the board, I declare the special board meeting adjourned. Time is 6:43. I would like to call the Flint Board of Education regular board meeting to order. Is it still 6:43 or 6:44? 6:44. 6:43 p.m. Board members, I call your name. Please reply present for the records. Trustee King?
Present.
Trustee Luna? Absent. Trustee Relaford?
Here.
Vice President Clack is absent. Assistant Secretary Treasurer McIntyre? Yes. Secretary Perkins?
Yes.
Myself, President Mike Neola. I would now call upon the Secretary Perkins to read the district mission statement and first statement in your standard practice.
District mission statement. It is the mission of the Flint School District to develop a community of learners who are prepared to live, work, and contribute in ever-changing society. Flint Board of Education standards of practice. In order to provide outstanding leadership and better serve the Flint community schools, we, the members of the Flint Board of Education, commit to the following standards of practice. Number one, we will be consistent in our dealings with each other, as well as students, staff, and community.
We will model trustworthiness and honesty in our relationships with each other, with our superintendent, and with our constituents.
We will focus on a common goal of providing the best education possible for the students in the Flint Community Schools.
We respect the diverse views that each of us bring to the organization, as well as the view of others that we interact with as we carry out the business of the Board of Education.
We will be open and authentic with each other, our staff, and community.
As we work to make decisions, we will focus on issues, not personalities.
Our decisions will be student-centered and based on objective facts.
We will practice good listening skills to better understand our fellow board of education members and constituents. Thank you all. I am seeking approval of minutes. I seek a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the February the 1st, 2024 Finance and Operation Committee of the whole meeting, February the 8th, 2024 Special Board Meeting, February the 14th, 2024 Board Committee of the whole meeting, February 21st, 2024 Special Board Meeting, and the February 21st, 2024 Regular Board Meeting.
So moved.
Properly moved and second. Did you get who? Are there any correction? Y'all set? Seeing there's no correction, please, board members, as I call your name, please say yes or no to accept these minutes meetings. Secretary Perkins?
Yes.
Trustee McIntyre? Yes. Vice President Clack is absent. Trustee Relaford?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Trustee Luna is absent. Myself, President Mike Neal, yes. 5 yes. This board will now hear comments from the public. We ask that you state the reason for addressing the board and that you limit your remarks to 3 minutes on matter within the authority of the board and not address individuals by name. The presiding officer of the board should have the right to limit the number of persons who may address the board on the same subject. Please state your name and address before beginning to speak. Thank you very much. How you doing?
Good evening. My name is Holly Selesky, but I'm reading a statement written by Jatheen Ross, who is a retired teacher and a current SST at Brownell Elementary. And she writes, "Dear Superintendent, Board of Education members, UTF members, Flint School District employees, community members, and all others that are present. I am writing this reference letter to respond to the allegations to staff members that were at the literacy night. While walking into our building last Thursday morning, I overheard parents talking about what a shame it was to hear those comments at the board meeting. As I continued walking, I was confronted by coworkers, and I didn't believe what I heard. That has led me to some reflections of the characteristics of the teachers in question. The upper elementary teacher is an excellent teacher, one who not only has classroom management under control, but also the respect of students, parents, co-workers, and all who have come in contact with her. She carries herself in a professional manner, upholds Brownell rules and the district's student conduct rules. She helps me every day with having papers written by students, typed by students, and displayed in our hallway about African Americans, both past and future. Our fifth graders enjoyed the facts and loved finding out what famous African Americans did on their birthday from the calendars purchased each year. She also shows concern for all of her students as well as their parents. She has been part of a drive-through for students who were a part of Brownell but have passed away due to health reasons. She quietly gives to others, but some good things done for families can't always be kept a secret. The families would let others in their community know what she has done. This does not describe her the same way as was done at the board meeting. Rather, she is a human being who is caring, compassionate, and stayed in our school district because of choice, not because she had to stay. She is one who I can vouch for and can very proudly say that I know her. If she leaves the district, there is going to be a large void at Brownell. This leads me to the lower elementary teacher. She has been on the north side of Flint working for 30 years. Leslie Rhymes talked about the joy of working with her at Merrill School. It was a professional and personal friendship. My family and I also feel the same way about this teacher. My daughter, granddaughter, and sister talk about how genuinely kind, considerate, caring, and concerned this teacher is as a person. I have been around the Flint School District all my life. I consider myself a good judge of character. I have worked with this teacher and found her to be an outstanding teacher. She has the support of parents, students, grandparents, coworkers, and all who come in contact with her. I have never heard anyone say anything about her that questioned her genuine concern about our students. I enjoy working with her and look forward to working with her in the future. Both teachers are valuable assets to Brownell, not liabilities. And she finishes with a question. How can you support someone who would be that demeaning in public representing the Flint Community School District? And again, submitted by Jatheen Ross. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Josh Petrick, 3161 West Coldwater Road. This is a very difficult message I need to send. I'm very disheartened by the fact that I even need to speak on this matter, but it needs to be addressed. I'd like to start with a quote from Dr. King. To meet hate with retaliatory hate would do nothing but intensify the existence of evil in the universe. Hate begets hate. Violence begets violence. Toughness begets a greater toughness. We must meet the forces of hate with the power of love. When confronted with your unwise decisions, you have a choice. You can do what we tell our students to do. You can be an adult, admit your mistake, and become a bigger person. Or you can continue to act like a child. We urge our children to do as the Apostle Paul said and put away childish things. When your response to being confronted on your actions of hate is to express even more hate, it intensifies evil, as Dr. King says. The evidence that that evil has intensified is that a second member of this board actually agreed with the hate and re-emphasized the hatred in comments of their own. As you can see, we are not responding in hate. We are responding with deep concern and love for our students. How are we supposed to teach our children how to act like adults when members of our school board will not? I implore you, soften your hearts. I implore you to be an example of how people should act and how people should treat each other. I implore you, as a board, do as the Apostle Paul said to the Romans, overcome evil with good. Thank you.
My name is Jerry White, and I'm here to fully stand with the Flint teachers and parents and students. I'm the Socialist Equality Party's candidate for Vice President of the United States. And I've spoken to a number of teachers who explained about your 12 years of wage freezes, your overcrowded classrooms, black mold in your classrooms, and so forth. These are conditions that confront educators across the United States and, in fact, across the world. Just like the Detroit teachers did in 2016, and West Virginia, Oklahoma, and Arizona teachers did in 2018, 2019, Flint teachers organized sick-outs when school officials claimed there was no money for adequate wages and smaller class sizes. Isn't it amazing that the same Democrats and Republicans in Lansing can find $3.4 billion to give tax incentives to General Motors and Ford? And what about Washington? Last year, Biden signed a bipartisan defense bill that gave arm manufacturers nearly $1 trillion for war. And the White House wants billions more to fund Israel's genocide in Gaza and military confrontations with Russia and China, which threaten nuclear annihilation of civilization. 10 years ago, politicians from both corporate parties were responsible for the lead poisoning of this city. Instead of allocating the necessary resources to address the public health catastrophe, the increase in learning disabilities and other consequences, Biden is allowing the emergency COVID funding for elementary and secondary schools to run out this September. Among working people, there is a strong opposition to such wars and a consensus that society should be funding public education, public health, ending poverty and homelessness. But the voice of the working class is completely ignored by all the political representatives of the corporations and the banks. Capitalism only promises war, poverty, and dictatorship. The billionaires in America have $5.5 trillion in wealth. It went up 88% during the pandemic when more than 1 million died. That's 30 times that's 7 times more than what's paid for K through 12 education in the United States. We demand billions for education, not bombs and missiles. We demand General Motors and other corporations which have bled this city dry to be put under workers' control and the ill-gotten fortunes of the billionaires used for social need. We encourage educators and all workers to organize rank-and-file committees that you control that will not bow to the demands of the two big business parties. And this is my conclusion. Nothing will come out of the backroom deals between the MEA and the school authorities. You must deepen your fight and appeal to educators in Wayne Westland who are protesting budget cuts and other cuts in Seattle, San Diego, New York City, and around the world. I encourage you to take this fight forward and appeal to your brothers and sisters in the auto plants and the districts all across Michigan, across the United States and the world. Thank you very much.
Next, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Eric Kennedy. I'm not running for office. No offense. I was a proud educator in the Flint Community Schools from 1995 till 2018. And during that time, I was a proud UTF member the entire time. I'm here to address the comments made by a particular board member last week during board member comments. Our unions interviewed a number of people who were present or in the vicinity of the incident at the Taste of Literacy event several weeks ago. What came out of the interviews was a message that a particular board member, whose name I will not say, did make some antagonizing comments that caused discomfort for the teachers who were working their job after hours. The teachers in question did shrink away to avoid confrontation during this situation. Considering the state of communications between the district and the union during this time, rightfully so, they did not know how to react to confrontation during their work hours at a work event. I would speculate that the board member was upset because one particular teacher was wearing their union-issued shirt under a sweater, partially visible, which she's allowed to do. I would further speculate that this caused the board member to become agitated. What I cannot understand is how someone immediately comes to the conclusion that the teachers involved were bigots, simply because they had an awkward 5-minute interaction with you. If these educators were truly bigoted, as you publicly labeled them, then wouldn't there be a long line of parents and students with complaints about them? Look around. There is no line of complaints because the families in that building know the hearts and characters of those 3 teachers, because they have had much more than a 5-minute interaction with them on a daily basis in that school for over 30 years. I believe that all of us are guided and molded based on our experiences in our lives, both good and bad. I believe that sometimes our experiences have such an impact on our views of others that causes us to make judgments in favor or against something, sometimes unfairly or unjustly. I would like to believe that this board member made a knee-jerk reaction to a situation based on previous things that happened in their lives, but you did make an unfair judgment against 3 individuals who've devoted decades to the children and community of Flint Community Schools. To call them bigots is beyond a slight. It is beyond the scope of union versus administration adversarial concerns. You made this personal. You attacked the integrity of those teachers, and only you can repair the damage done, which I urge you to do today, because a school district cannot effectively operate if they feel defamed by a member of the school board. Yes. For the rest of you, I can only hope that the comments made by this one particular board member are not reflective of the views of everyone else on that stage. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any more comments? Seeing no more public comments, I appreciate your comments and respect them. At this time, we'll have a presentation from our Executive Director of Academic, Ms. Kelly Field.
Good evening, Board. It's a pleasure to be in front of you today to be able to bring the Flint Community Schools academic updates for this board meeting. So first, I'd like to start off with our main objective. As always, we are re-energizing the pride, we are renovating the plans, we are rebuilding the possibilities and repurposing for a brighter future and remains unwavering. In our last presentation, it was lifted that we wanted to have a little bit more information on how we would be able to support our students in reading. Currently, our district is engaged in a literacy implementation plan, which is part of our partnership agreement. In this literacy implementation plan, this supports the district's strategic goals as well as the partnership agreement, and it's built around a shared leadership and stakeholders where our teachers, our administrators, and our academic team is focusing on building 5 critical components from the literary essentials, focusing on a gold standard of what literacy and good literacy instruction looks like, adopting strategies and approaches to literacy to ensure that our students get the support that they need in closing the achievement gaps and being able to support literacy standards across the district. We're building off a focus of 3 critical components and then continuing to implement our building literacy plans by monitoring with walkthroughs, evaluations, observations, and coaching supports for those that have gaps that may need a little bit more supports with literacy. Time. You do have access upon the superintendent's direction. I've created a data and resource hub for you that is at your leisure through the project document. I currently have our new administrative assistant that is dropping in there, not just our presentations, but also these particular supports for your leisure and your review. The draft of the 6 through 12 literacy implementation plan will be well implemented and completed by our June 24th goal. We'll be making sure that that's monitored through next year through our academic 25-24 school year. And the elementary literacy implementation plan is also available for you at your leisure to be able to review. Some of the things that I also heard during our last presentation was that we wanted to know a little bit more about the highlights and the things that are going on around the district. So one of the schools that I'd like to highlight this evening is Accelerated Learning Academy. As you know, well and true and dear to my heart, wanted to be able to bring a little bit of things that they are doing at Accelerated Learning Academy. Currently, the students have been working with the student makerspace where they've been bringing vision to life for their creating apparel through the influencer program, which is part of their enrichment that they do on Fridays. As well as that, they've been doing a great job at celebrating student creativity and achievement. They've been working with Baba Collins through dumb therapy. They've also been working with Studio on the Go to produce different things celebrating not just their creativity around what happens in their school, but also what happens as far as education and bringing positive light to music and other avenues of production and direction that they're doing with that particular program. We also have an influencer that's been coming in them to work with the students at ALA to challenge them in thinking about how they can use social media as a means of positive opportunities rather than negative opportunities. I'd also like to highlight Doyle Ryder this month. Dr. Coleman did a fantastic job of creating an event called the Black Men Read event, of which our own Superintendent Jones was part of, but also a fantastic panel of African-American males that came in and not only gave inspiration, but also engaged the students and scholars in infectious and energetic and generosity across the school. And so she also said stay tuned because she will also be having a panel about Black Women Read. Yeah, super excited. It was a beautiful, beautiful event. In addition to that, we'd like to celebrate and we'd like to shout out Pierce School for this month. One of the things that they did during the Black History Month was they had their shoebox lunches. That commemorated the resilience of Black travelers through the shoebox lunch program. Students were learned about segregation and taking home lunches that honored figures like Katherine Johnson and Ruby Bridges, and it was an outstanding event where our students received these boxes they were able to take home that were not only centered and focused on literacy, but also celebrated the great accomplishments of African American figures in American history. And finally, I'd like to go ahead and highlight our literacy. The Department of Academics hosted this month the Family Literacy event at the Farmers Market. On March 6th, it promoted the reading joys and strengthened family, school, community bonds. We learned effective literacy strategies for all ages, and it was well attended with a great number of our community members that came together with teachers, staff, and educators alike. I'd like to also highlight the student for this month, and it's going to be Mason Kuzik and Elu Boo. They represented JAG Nation at the University of Michigan, where they were involved in a critical conversations around critical issues conference, and they represented very well and in fine fashion, and also discussing technology, education, generative AI. And I think one of the most fantastic things for Mason this past month is he was nominated for the Children's Champion Award for being an outstanding youth award. So I'd like to give our students a hand. Lastly, I think that it is one of the ways that's best suited this evening is to go ahead and give Ms. Starr a round of applause for receiving the Excellence in Education Award from the foundation. Sponsored by Sativa. I have included in the PowerPoint, there's a link for you to be able to read Ms. Florian's feedback on her colleague, Ms. Starr. She was nominated for this month's award for the Community Foundation, and had Ms. Fox and the rest of the crew show up and did a fine fashion for her, celebrated her with her family. It was a complete surprise, as it is every month. And so we'd just like to really thank Ms. Starr for her service and her commitment to Flint schools. And the not just, she works overtime for us. She is constantly looking for ways that she can support our district and making sure that our students receive the best possible instruction and supports through learning support services. Any questions from the board members this evening? Thank you. I appreciate that, Ms. Perkins.
Great job. And it's
Thank you,
good
I
to see
appreciate
that
it.
Flint Community School have great teachers working with us. I appreciate what you just presented, because a lot of time board members are at work when a lot of things is going on. But this really excited me, and my hat goes out to the teachers and the people that planned this here, and we do appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fields.
Appreciate it as well.
Thank you, Ms. Fields. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
I can.
I just wanted to say that this is, part of our partnership agreement coming forward every month to give this presentation, and I'm so glad that we're able to do this so well. I love your graphics as usual. You're really good, way better than I am with that. And thank you for the update. Is there for the Children's Award, is that something that we could possibly attend for our scholar? I don't want it to be too cost prohibitive. I know that those tables are cost prohibitive, but it is something that perhaps, because I know that
I
different
didn't get
groups
the
do.
date in time.
I wouldn't be able to answer that question right now because I'm not sure what the answer of it is, but I'm most certainly willing. I'll make sure that I check into it and see if there is an opportunity for sure.
Yeah, and if there's just ever any opportunity to support our scholars like
Absolutely.
that would be a fantastic thing.
Yes.
Thank you.
My goal is to make sure that you have enough information
lead time,
beforehand and
yes.
details in these particular areas, and to make sure that we can support appropriately. So I appreciate the lift and appreciate the challenge to make sure that we do so.
Thank
And we
you.
appreciate you.
Ms.
All set?
Fields, I really want to say I really appreciate the way you handle the academic portion of it, and the literacy was just off the hook. I just really enjoyed everything. I ran into you over there, so keep up the good work.
That would not have been possible without the Department of Academics and the team there. I have probably some of the most fantastic educators in, I don't even want to say the county, I want to say in the world. Dylan and Sherry and Alicia and Chris and Danielle and the whole entire team. And if I forgot somebody's name, charge my head and not my heart. Thank you for Deanna as well. The support and then their commitment to Flint Community Schools and making sure that there are quality opportunities for our community and for our scholars is beyond par. I'm so incredibly proud of them. And the support of the teachers and making sure that our community has these opportunities to engage in literacy and the importance of reading. And so I appreciated your lifts last week to look at how we can make sure that we're having that be a constant message on what we do in Flint Community Schools. So thank you as well.
Great job.
Before
sir.
you go, so the scholars that are going to the HBCU tour, they
there's-
leave Sunday night. They leave actually at midnight.
How many?
There's two.
Okay.
There's two going, and they are equipped. I was at a meeting that they were at. So I don't want to mention names, but there are two scholars that the high school chose, and I just wanted to give the board an update that they will be leaving for a 5-day trip to those HBCU colleges, and they'll be coming back to give us information on that trip.
They will. I was just getting ready to say, you're
Superintendent
stealing my
Jones.
thunder for next month. In
I didn't mean to
addition-
steal your thumb, sorry.
In addition to that, we also have another set of students that the center has, that they've also supported in going. So I think we have a total of,
117.
there's 117 kids from the county that are going.
Yes.
And in that count, in that number, I think we have a total of, I want to say 10 kids, don't quote me on that, but we have 10 students that either the center or Flint Community Schools is supporting in that. And my goal is that we not just have 10 going next year, but we have a whole crew going on.
Amen.
And,
All right.
yep, a whole
Madam
entire
Chair.
And I
class.
just, okay, I want to say this. I just want to let you know, Mr. Jones and I spoke, and they are going to be very well taking care of our kids.
They absolutely
We are
are.
going to be they're very well taken care of. Trustee Rutherford.
No, it sounds like you answered it. First of all, I think it's great. I think it's a long time coming. It will definitely change their outlook on a lot of things. Just want to make sure, but you said it, that everything was taken care of, that they have appropriate clothing and everything and enough spending money so that they can enjoy themselves.
Absolutely.
All right, well, thank you. Kudos for that.
I appreciate
And
that.
I just want to thank Trustee Rutherford. She brought this went to the board last year, and so we finally made it happen according to the rules and regulations. So I thank her for bringing that forth, and this year we're making it happen, so thank you.
I got a request. Can they please come to the board meeting and share with us their thoughts and their experience? I think that would be great.
Absolutely, but the plan is, Trustee Relaford, is to make sure not only that the 2 young people that the board is sending, but also the center kids. I'd like to go ahead and try to get something for when they all get back from their trip to bring them all together, because they're
course.
all Flint Community School
And bring
children.
the parents.
Thank
with
you.
them. I'd
Absolutely.
like to meet the parents. Okay. Is there any more questions?
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Do any board member have any comments or remarks before we adjourn?
Madam Chair.
Trustee Rutherford?
I would like to say, if I offended you, I apologize. Was not my intent, but I wanted to be direct and sincere. I am here to meet with anyone that would want to meet with me. I don't have a problem correcting a mistake or a misunderstanding. But I say to you all, you are tasked with a job. Do your job, I'll support you. But respect goes both ways. I have always been in support of teachers, and I will always be in support of teachers. And a lot of you may not know, I've worked in this district for years. So a lot of things I've witnessed, a lot of good and a lot of bad. But I'm here to help, not to hurt. And also accountability, it's not an attack. It's just being held accountable. So if you never had a conversation with me, do yourself a favor and have a conversation with me. That way, you'll be able to say for yourself, because my experience is my experience. Your experience is your experience. But as a public elected official, it is my privilege to serve. And it may not be happy all the time, but I'm here to serve. So if you would like to have a conversation with me, I am not hard to find. Opportunity is there, but disrespect will not be tolerated. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more comments from the board? There's one more comment. Go ahead. Well, just tell me. Go ahead.
All right, I'd just like to say that.
Can we have your attention just for a few minutes?
Thank
Could
you.
please listen to us for a few minutes? Please, please. Thank you.
Thank you for a good, productive meeting. I'm glad we're moving forward with a lot of business in the district and seeing what's going on with our scholars. I do want to reiterate one of the comments about how we need to come together as school advocates and public school fighters to confront all levels of attacks on public education. So it's not just teachers versus administrators versus scholars and school board members, but that we fight this attack at the federal level, the state level, and on the local level. And I'm committed to this, and I thank you for that.
Thank you. I would like to make a comment. I have sent several people to Lansing today, and they had an advocate forum going on. And the saddest thing was that our state reps, we was talking about, and their goal was to talk about teachers' wages, fairness in our school, helping us do better in our school, giving us the extra fund for debt elimination. And I'm applaud that our state reps was not even there. They had to put notes underneath their desks. It is time for the state and the federal to make the city of Flint whole again so we can make you guys whole again. That is what I've been out here advocating. And we get to the state level and your state rep that would not even meet the people, and they was advocating for teachers, for better pay, smaller classroom, and the state put on this big forum, and your state rep was not there, did not even send an apology. We went to the federal. I have to say at the federal level, John Cherry, Dan Kildee, all of them took the time and listened. And we get back here, and they said, go back home and talk to your state rep. All I'm saying is that we need help to help you all. And we need you all to help us advocate, because it's just not fair that Flint get overlooked for everything, and you're sitting up in the classroom struggling. So I want to make it clear that I care. I do care. I go out of my way to care. I listen very hard, not with my ears, but with my heart, because I taught in the school for 10 years. So don't think that we're sitting up here not listening. We are working very hard trying to make it right. Listen to my heart, not my mouth. But I'm assuming that we're gonna see a difference. Is everybody gonna get what they want? No. But keep up. Guess what? I'm gonna keep fighting, because my goal is to get back in the classroom and help. But I can't do it sitting on this seat. So I appreciate you, every last one. I'm not gonna call nobody out of their name. I'm not, I can handle the insult, but we are working very, very hard. And I refuse to go to bed tonight not letting you hear from my heart, because I do care. Trustee.
I want to say, I went to Lansing on yesterday. It was National Water Day, but I had a chance to go and sit down in Senator Cherry's office, and I had a conversation like you wouldn't believe, and it was about education in the public schools. And with all of the things, I'm going to piggyback on what Dr. Joyce just said. We really, really, really love our teachers and our scholars. We want the best for you. We really do. And we speak up for you. But like she said, legislation is key for all of us. We're one, all together. We should be in unity. But legislation is where it's going to happen. Thank you.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I would quickly say to my colleagues that don't forget about our training session tomorrow and the scheduling of the tour of the renovated buildings. I look forward to the tour of the renovated buildings that's currently being renovated, so we can see our extra dollars at work. Thank you.